The letter fell out of the kitchen cabinet just as Ava Collins slammed the cupboard shut.
I wonder who this is from.
What the? The envelope landed on the floor beside her bare foot. For several seconds, she simply stared at it. She had been unpacking since sunrise, and after 6 hours of carrying boxes into her new apartment in Charleston, South Carolina, she was exhausted enough to ignore almost anything. Almost. The envelope was old. Not dusty or damaged, just old enough to look completely out of place in her freshly renovated apartment. Ava crouched and picked it up. There was no stamp, no address, only one name written across the front. Ava. Her stomach tightened. She looked around the empty kitchen. Okay, that's creepy. She turned the envelope over. Nothing.
No signature. No explanation.
She should have thrown it away. Instead, she opened it. The first sentence made her sit down. I don't know whether you'll remember me, but I hope you remember how you felt when you loved me. Ava stopped reading. Her eyes returned to the sentence. Loved me? She frowned. I've never. Her voice faded. She had never loved anyone like that. At least that was what she had always believed. Ava was 29 and worked as a children's book editor. She had spent the last 4 years building a quiet life after leaving Chicago. She wasn't bitter about love. She simply didn't trust it enough to give it control over her. She had dated. She had cared. But she had never experienced the kind of love people wrote songs about. She continued reading. You once told me that if we ever lost each other, you'd rather find me again than spend the rest of your life wondering what happened. Her heart began beating faster. So I'm leaving this here, not because I expect you to come back, but because you deserve to know that someone never stopped loving you. Ava swallowed. At the bottom was a name. Elliot. She stared at it. The name meant nothing. Yet the moment she whispered it, something strange happened. A tiny memory surfaced. A man's laugh. Warm. Low. Close to her ear. Then it disappeared. Ava closed her eyes. Who are you? She read the letter again. There was no date. No explanation about where they had met. Only one final sentence. If you ever find this, come to the Little Blue Cafe on King Street at 7. Ava glanced at the clock. 6:42 p.m. She laughed nervously.
No.
Absolutely not. She folded the letter, then unfolded it again. 7 o'clock. She looked toward the apartment window. The Little Blue Cafe was less than 10 minutes away. This was ridiculous. She had just moved into the apartment. She didn't know Elliot. She didn't know why someone had written her a love letter and hidden it inside a kitchen cabinet. And she certainly wasn't going to chase some mysterious man because of a note that could have been written years ago. Her phone buzzed. A message from her younger sister, Emma. How's the new place? Ava typed. Beautiful. Weird, but beautiful. Emma replied immediately. Define weird. Ava looked at the letter. She took a picture of it, then deleted the picture. She didn't know why. A few minutes later, she found herself putting on her shoes. I am only going to the cafe, she told herself. I'm not looking for anyone. She grabbed her keys. And if this is some stupid prank, I'm leaving. But when she stepped outside, her heart was already telling her something her mind refused to accept. She had seen that name before. Somewhere. Sometime. Perhaps in a life she couldn't remember. The cafe was nearly empty when Ava arrived. She pushed open the blue-painted door at exactly 7:03. A young waitress smiled. Table for one? Yes. Ava looked around. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Who? Elliot. The waitress's expression changed. Ava noticed. You know him? The waitress hesitated. I know who you mean. Ava's pulse jumped. Is he here?
No.
Oh. Disappointment hit her so quickly that it embarrassed her. She turned to leave. Then the waitress called after her. Wait. Ava looked back. The woman reached beneath the counter and pulled out a small envelope. He told me you might come. Ava's mouth went dry. He. The waitress nodded. Elliot. Ava took the envelope. Her fingers were trembling. When was this left? About 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. Yes. Ava stared at her. How could he know I was coming here? The waitress smiled sadly. He didn't. She pointed to the envelope. He just hoped. Ava opened it. Inside was another letter. You probably think I'm being unfair. You're right. I should have found another way to tell you. But you once told me that the worst thing someone can do is pretend they never loved you. Ava's eyes burned. She sat down. The waitress quietly brought her a glass of water. Ava continued. I didn't stop loving you. I simply learned to live without you. A tear slipped down Ava's cheek. She wiped it away quickly. Then she reached the final line. If you're sitting in that cafe right now, I need you to know one thing. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because you asked me to. Ava's heart stopped. She whispered, I asked you to? A man's voice answered from behind her. Yes. Ava slowly turned. A man stood near the entrance. He looked about 32. Dark brown hair. Warm hazel eyes. A simple gray sweater. No expensive watch.
No elegante smile.
He looked nervous. Almost painfully nervous. Their eyes met. And Ava knew him. Not from memory. Not from a photograph. Somewhere deeper. Her heart recognized him before her mind did. The man swallowed. Ava. She stood. Elliot. He nodded. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ava asked the question that had been burning inside her since she opened the first letter. Why don't I remember you? Elliot looked down. Because you weren't supposed to. Her chest tightened. What does that mean? I promised myself I wouldn't explain everything unless you came looking for me. I didn't come looking for you. He gave a sad smile. You came. Ava looked at him. I found a letter in my apartment. I know. You knew it was there? Yes. How? Elliot hesitated. Because I used to live there. Ava's eyes widened. You lived in my apartment? 5 years ago. She stared at him. Then something inside her shifted. Flash. A rainy evening. Her laughing in that same kitchen. A man's arms around her from behind. Her own voice saying, Promise me you won't ever disappear. The memory vanished. Ava grabbed the edge of the table. Elliot stepped forward. Are you okay? Don't. He stopped. Ava looked at him with tears in her eyes. Don't come closer. He nodded immediately. Okay. She took a shaky breath. Tell me everything. Elliot's expression changed. I will. No half-truths. I won't. And don't tell me you loved me unless you can tell me why I don't remember loving you. He looked directly into her eyes. Because 5 years ago, Ava, you were preparing to marry someone else. She froze. What? You were engaged. Ava shook her head.
No.
You were. I've never been engaged. Elliot's eyes filled with pain. Not anymore. Ava whispered. What happened? He looked at her for a long moment. You remembered me. She frowned. I don't understand. You remembered that you loved me. And you called off the wedding. Ava's breath caught. Why? Elliot's voice broke. Because you realized the man you were about to marry wasn't the person you loved. Ava stared at him. Then why aren't we together? Elliot looked away. Because after you ended the engagement, you came to me. And you told me you were terrified. Of what? Of destroying everyone's lives because of what you felt for me. Ava's eyes filled. What did you do? I asked you to choose. What did I choose? Elliot looked back at her. You chose to forget. Ava couldn't speak. She felt as though the floor had disappeared beneath her. Then Elliot reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small silver key. I kept this for 5 years. Ava stared at it. What is it? The key to the apartment you just moved into. She frowned. You said you lived there. I did. Why would I move into the same apartment? I don't know. He placed the key on the table. But there's something else you don't know. Ava looked at him. What? Elliot's voice became almost a whisper. You didn't find that letter by accident. She stared at him. Then why did I find it? He held her gaze. Because before you forgot me, you made me promise that if you ever came back to that apartment, he paused, I would leave the letter where only you could find it. Ava's eyes filled with tears. She touched the envelope. So some part of me knew I'd come back. Elliot nodded. Maybe. Ava looked at him for several seconds. Then she asked softly, "Do you still love me?" Elliot's eyes glistened. "I tried not to. That wasn't my question." He took a slow breath. "Yes." Ava looked down. Her heart was pounding. "I don't remember loving you. I know. But when I look at you..." She struggled to finish. "What? I feel like I'm missing something." Elliot's voice softened. "Maybe you're not missing something." He looked at her. "Maybe you're finding it." And for the first time since opening that letter, Ava wondered whether the greatest mystery wasn't who Elliot was. It was why the woman she used to be had loved him enough to erase him from her own life. If you're enjoying Ava and Elliot's story, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments. Would you trust someone you loved but couldn't remember? Because Ava was about to discover that forgetting Elliot had been her decision. But falling in love with him again, that decision was still hers. Ava remained seated long after Elliot finished speaking. She couldn't look at him, not because she was afraid of him, because she was afraid of what she felt whenever she did. It made no sense. She had known this man for less than an hour, yet her heart reacted to him as if it had been waiting years. She finally lifted her eyes. "Show me." Elliot frowned. "Show you what?" "Everything." "Ava, you said I asked you to leave the truth behind. You said I chose to forget you. Fine." She pushed the second letter across the table. "But I'm not that woman anymore." Elliot said nothing. "I want to know what happened." His jaw tightened. "You may not like it. I don't like not knowing." He looked at her for several seconds. Then he sat across from her. 5 years ago, you were 24. Ava listened. "You were working at a publishing company in Boston. I was a high school music teacher." She blinked. "A teacher?" He smiled faintly. "Yes. You never mentioned that. You never gave me time." Ava's expression softened. "Tell me." "We met at a bookstore." "How?" "You were buying a children's book for your niece." Ava smiled despite herself. "That sounds like me." "You dropped it." "I dropped a book?" "You dropped 6. She laughed quietly. "That definitely sounds like me." Elliot smiled. "I picked them up. And then, I made a terrible joke." "What joke?" "I told you that if you were planning to read 6 books at once, you should probably buy a 7th so the others wouldn't get jealous." Ava laughed. "That is terrible." "I know. And I still liked you?" "You laughed." She looked at him. "I laughed." "You laughed for almost a minute." Something fluttered inside her chest. She could almost hear it. His voice. Her laughter. The sound of rain against a window. She pressed her fingers against her temple. "Stop." Elliot immediately leaned forward. "What happened?" "I remembered the bookstore." His face changed. "What?" "Just for a second." "What did you remember?" "You were holding the books." She closed her eyes. "You had that stupid smile." Elliot laughed softly. "That was my best smile."
No.
"It was terrible." "It worked." She opened her eyes. For a moment, they simply stared at each other. Then Ava whispered, "What happened after the bookstore?" "We became friends. Only friends. For 3 weeks." She smiled. 3 weeks. I was trying to be respectful. And I wasn't? "You kissed me." Ava's eyes widened. "I kissed you?" "Yes." "Where?" "Outside the bookstore." She covered her face. "Oh my God. You looked terrified afterward." "I can imagine." "You said, 'That wasn't supposed to happen.' And what did you say?" "I said, 'I hope it happens again.'" Ava lowered her hands. "Did it?" "Every day." Her smile faded. "Until it didn't." Elliot looked down. "You were engaged." "I was engaged to someone else?" "Yes." "Who?" "Caleb." The name sounded unfamiliar. Ava shook her head. "I don't remember him." "You don't remember much from that period." "Was he good to me?" Elliot hesitated. "That isn't for me to answer." "Elliot." "He wasn't cruel." That isn't what I asked. Elliot sighed. He loved the version of you that fit into his plans. Ava's expression hardened. What does that mean? He wanted you to move to New York. He wanted you to leave publishing. He wanted you to work with his family's company. And you? I wanted you to choose whatever made you happy. She stared at him. And that was the problem. What? You weren't asking me to choose you. Elliot looked at her. I knew if I asked, you'd choose me. Her heart skipped. And you didn't want that? I wanted you desperately. His voice cracked. But I didn't want you to spend your life wondering if you had ruined everything for me. Ava looked away. So what happened? You ended your engagement. And then, you came to my apartment. Your apartment? The one you're living in now. Ava's eyes widened. We lived together? For 11 days. Only 11? You said you needed time. What happened on the 11th day? Elliot's expression became painful. You received a phone call. From Caleb?
No.
Who? Your father. Ava's stomach tightened. My father? Yes. What did he say? Elliot hesitated. He told you your mother had collapsed. Ava's eyes filled instantly. She was sick. She was dealing with a heart condition. Ava touched her chest. Why don't I remember that? You were overwhelmed. What happened to her? She survived. Ava exhaled. Thank God. You flew home. Did you come with me?
No.
Why? Your father told me not to. She frowned. Why would he care? Elliot looked at her. Because he blamed me. For what? For you ending your engagement. Ava was silent. He told me if I loved you, I'd stay away. And you listened? I thought I was protecting you. Ava shook her head. You made the decision for me. I know. You disappeared. Yes. And then I forgot you. Elliot's eyes filled. Not immediately. Ava stared at him. What happened? You came back to Charleston 3 months later. I came back. Yes. To you. You came to the apartment. Her heart pounded. What did I say? You stood outside the door for almost 10 minutes. And then, you knocked. Ava whispered. What happened? I opened the door. He swallowed. You looked at me and said. He stopped. What? You said. I know you. Ava's breath caught. And then, you cried. Why? Because you told me you'd been having dreams about me. She stared at him. Dreams? Every night. What happened after that? Elliot looked away. You told me you wanted the dreams to stop. Ava's face fell. So I asked you to help me forget? Yes. Why? Because you believed remembering me was destroying your life. She wiped a tear from her cheek. And you agreed? I didn't want to. But you did. Yes. Why? Elliot's voice was barely audible. Because you asked me while crying in my arms. Ava closed her eyes. A fragment returned, her forehead against his chest, his arms around her, her voice trembling. Please make it stop. She opened her eyes. You really let me forget you? I let you believe you could. She frowned. What does that mean? I couldn't erase 5 years of your life. Then how did I forget? You convinced yourself. Ava stared at him. I don't understand. You stopped talking about me. You stopped looking at our photographs. You changed cities. You changed jobs. You built a life that didn't include me. And you? I stayed away. 5 years. Yes. Why? Elliot looked directly at her. Because loving you meant respecting the woman you wanted to become. Ava's tears fell. You should hate me. I tried. Did it work?
No.
She laughed through her tears. Why are you still so honest? Because I already lost you once. His eyes held hers. I don't want to lose you because I lied. Ava looked down at the letter. Then she noticed something she hadn't seen before. A date. 5 years ago. And beneath it, another sentence. If Ava ever comes back, tell her the truth about the night she left. Her breathing stopped. She looked up. What night? Elliot went completely still. What? This. She pointed at the sentence. You didn't tell me about the night I left. Elliot's expression changed. Ava. What happened? He didn't answer. Elliot. You don't want to know. That isn't your decision anymore. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he reached into his wallet and pulled out a photograph. He placed it on the table. Ava picked it up. It showed her standing outside the apartment 5 years earlier. But she wasn't alone. Caleb was there. And so was another woman. Ava's eyes narrowed. Who is she? Elliot's face became serious. That's the part one never understood. Why? Because she was the person who convinced you to leave me. Ava stared at the photograph. The woman looked familiar. Very familiar. Then Ava recognized her. Her blood ran cold. That can't be. What? Ava slowly whispered the name. Emma. Elliot's face changed. Your sister. Ava looked at the photograph again. Her hands began to shake. My sister was there? Yes. But Emma told me she never met you. Elliot stared at her. She lied. Ava's phone suddenly buzzed. A message appeared from Emma. Ava, please don't ask Elliot about that night. Ava's blood ran cold. Another message appeared. There are things you were never supposed to remember. She looked at Elliot, then at her phone, then back at the photograph. And for the first time, the love story she thought she had lost began to feel like something much more complicated. Because 5 years ago, Ava had asked herself to forget Elliot. But someone else had been there when she made that decision. And that person was her own sister. If this story is pulling you in, hit like and subscribe, because Ava is about to uncover the one truth that could completely change the way she remembers her past, and the man she thought she had lost forever. Ava stared at Emma's message until the words blurred. Then she looked at Elliot. My sister knew. Elliot didn't answer. Did she know you? Yes. How well? Well enough to know where I lived. Ava's stomach tightened. You said she was there that night. She was. What did she do? Elliot leaned back. She tried to convince you not to leave with me. Ava frowned. Why? I don't know. You must have an idea. I have several. Tell me. Elliot hesitated. I think Emma believed she was protecting you. From me. From your choices. Ava's expression hardened. She doesn't get to decide my choices. I know. Then why did she? I don't think she understood how much you loved me. Ava looked down at the photograph. I don't understand either. You don't have to understand everything tonight. Yes, I do. Ava.
No.
She stood. I've spent 5 years living with memories that apparently aren't mine. Elliot stood too. Then let's not make another decision tonight. She shook her head. You don't get it. What? I don't want another person deciding what's best for me. Elliot went quiet. Ava's voice softened. If I loved you, I need to know. You did. If I left you, I need to know why. I can tell you. And if my sister was involved. She swallowed. I need to hear it from her. Elliot nodded. Then call her. Ava pulled out her phone. She pressed Emma's name. 1 ring. 2. 3. No answer. She called again. Nothing. Ava stared at the screen. She isn't answering. Elliot's jaw tightened. That's unusual? Emma always answers. Her phone buzzed. A message. But it wasn't from Emma. Stop asking questions. Ava froze. Did you get that? Elliot looked at her screen. Yes. Who is it? I don't know. Another message arrived. You wanted a new life. Don't destroy it by digging up the old one. Ava's eyes filled with anger. Whoever this is thinks they can scare me. Elliot stepped closer. Ava. She looked at him. I need you to trust me. That is difficult when you know things about my life that I don't. I understand. No, you don't. She pointed at him. You knew where I lived. You knew I'd find the letter. You knew my sister. You knew about my engagement. You knew about memories I can't access. Her voice cracked. And somehow I'm supposed to trust you? Elliot didn't defend himself. You shouldn't trust me because I ask you to. Then why should I? You shouldn't. Ava stared at him. He continued, "Trust what you discover." That answer disarmed her. She looked away. "I'm going home. I'll walk you."
No.
"Ava, I need to be alone." He nodded. "Okay." She turned toward the door, then stopped. "Elliot." "Yes. If I don't remember loving you." He waited. "Do you expect me to love you again?"
No.
Her eyes met his. "Why not?" "Because you don't owe me the past." His voice softened. "If something happens between us again, I want it to belong to us." Ava felt tears gathering again. "You make that sound easy." "It isn't." "Then why are you so calm?" "I'm not." He smiled sadly.
I'm terrified.
She almost smiled. "Good." He laughed quietly. For the first time that evening, the tension between them softened. Ava walked out, but she didn't make it halfway down the street before she stopped. She turned. Elliot was still standing outside the cafe, watching her. Neither moved. Then Ava said, "Good night." "Good night, Ava." She walked away, but she didn't know Elliot watched until she disappeared around the corner. And he didn't know Ava cried the entire way home. When she entered her apartment, everything felt different. The kitchen, the cabinets, the letter, the walls. She looked at the cabinet where she had found the envelope. Then she noticed something, a small scratch beneath the handle. She ran her finger over it. There were initials carved into the wood. "Amaizi." Ava stepped back.
No.
She touched them again. A memory struck her. Elliot laughing. Her sitting on the kitchen counter. His hands around her waist. Her saying, "Promise me we'll come back here someday." His answer, "Only if you promise to let me cook." "You can't cook." "I can." "You burned pasta." "That was one time." Ava laughed. The memory disappeared. She covered her mouth. "Oh my God." She sank onto the kitchen floor. She remembered. Not everything, but enough. She remembered loving him. And that scared her more than forgetting ever had. Her phone rang. "Emma." Ava answered immediately. "Where are you?" Silence. "Emma?" Her sister finally spoke. "Are you with him?" Ava's anger returned. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I found the letters." Emma inhaled sharply. "You weren't supposed to." "That's exactly what he said." "Ava, listen to me."
No.
"You don't understand what happened." "Then explain it." "I can't." "You can." "I can't." Ava's voice broke. "You were there." Emma went silent. "You were there the night I left." "I was." "Why?" "I was trying to help you." "By helping me forget the man I loved?" "I thought I was saving you." "From what?" Emma started crying. "From yourself." Ava closed her eyes. "That isn't an answer." "I know." "Then give me one." Emma's breathing became uneven. "Caleb wasn't the problem." Ava's eyes opened. "What?" "Caleb wasn't the reason Dad wanted you to leave Elliot." "Then who was?" Silence. "Emma, I have to go."
No.
Ava stood. "Don't you dare hang up." Her sister whispered, "Ask Elliot about the photograph." "What about it?" "He knows what happened." Then the call ended. Ava stared at her phone. She immediately called Elliot. He answered after one ring. "Ava, what happened in that photograph?" Silence. "You knew my sister would tell me to ask you." "Ava, tell me." "It isn't what you think." "Then what is it?" He sighed. "Caleb wasn't there because of you." "Why was he there?" "He came to confront me." "About what?" "Your father." Ava's heartbeat quickened. "My father?" "Yes." "What did my father have to do with you?" Elliot didn't answer. "Elliot, I didn't tell you because I didn't want your memories to become someone else's story." "What does that mean?" "You need to remember it yourself." "I can't." "You can." "How?" He paused. "Go upstairs." She frowned.
I'm upstairs.
"Go to your bedroom." Ava slowly walked toward the hallway. "I'm here." "Look behind the headboard." She froze. "Why?" "Because you left something there." Ava moved the bed away from the wall. Her fingers searched behind the headboard. They touched paper. She pulled out a folded sheet. Her name was written across it. But this time, the handwriting was hers. Ava's breath caught. She opened it. Elliot, if I'm reading this again, then I've forgotten. She sat down on the edge of the bed. Please don't be angry with me. Her eyes filled. I know you will want to tell me everything. Don't. Let me find my way back to you. Ava covered her mouth. There was more. The truth about Dad isn't something you should tell me. If I remember, I'll understand. Her hands shook. Then she reached the final paragraph. But if I don't remember one thing, please remind me. Ava's tears fell. Remind me that I loved you freely. She couldn't breathe. She read the final sentence. And if I choose you again, don't ever let anyone make you believe you stole me from them. Ava stared at the page. Then she whispered, I wrote this. Yes, Elliot said through the phone. She closed her eyes. You knew. I did. Why didn't you tell me? Because you asked me not to. Ava cried silently. Then she asked, what was my father hiding? Elliot was silent for so long that she thought the call had disconnected. Finally, he said, your father didn't want you to marry Caleb. Ava frowned. What? He wanted you to marry someone else. Who? You. She laughed bitterly. That makes no sense.
No.
His voice softened. That's why you need to remember. Ava stared at the letter in her hands. What do you mean? Your father wasn't protecting you from me. He was protecting me from what? Elliot answered quietly. The truth about your family. Ava's heart sank. Before she could respond, someone knocked on her apartment door. 3 times. She froze. Elliot heard it. Ava. She didn't answer. Another knock. Harder. She looked toward the door. Elliot. Don't open it. Her breathing quickened. A voice came from the hallway. Ava. She knew that voice. Her father. Ava, it's Dad. She stared at the door. Elliot whispered through the phone. Whatever he tells you, don't believe him until you remember why you left. Ava stood frozen between the phone and the door. Her father knocked again. Ava, please open the door. She slowly approached. Then she heard him say something that made her blood run cold. I know you found the letters. Ava stopped. Her hand hovered inches from the lock. Her father continued. And I know Elliot is with you. She looked at her phone. Elliot's voice was barely audible. Ava. Her father's next words shattered the last bit of certainty she had. There's something Elliot never told you. Ava's fingers tightened around the doorknob. What? Her father answered from the other side. You weren't the one who asked Elliot to leave. Ava stopped breathing. Her father whispered, I was. Ava's hand fell away from the doorknob. For several seconds, she couldn't speak. Her father's confession echoed through the apartment. I was. She turned toward the phone. Elliot. I heard him. You knew.
No.
You knew my father forced you to leave? I knew he wanted me gone. I didn't know he had told you to forget me. Ava stared at the door. Then why did you let me believe I asked you to? I didn't. You just told me I asked you. You did ask me. But now my father says he made you leave. He did. Ava's mind raced. Both things can't be true. They can. How? Elliot's voice softened. Because your father made you believe leaving me was your choice. Ava's stomach twisted. She looked at the door. Dad. No answer. Dad, what did you do? Her father's voice came quietly through the wood. I made a mistake. A mistake. Yes. You destroyed 5 years of my life. I know. You let me forget someone I loved. I know. You lied to me. I thought I was protecting you. Ava laughed bitterly. Everyone keeps saying that. She opened the door. Her father stood alone in the hallway. He looked older than she remembered. His shoulders were lowered, his eyes tired. But Ava wasn't interested in pity. What did you do? He looked at her. I need to tell you everything. You should have done that 5 years ago. I was afraid. Of what? Of losing you. You already lost me. Her father's eyes filled. I know. Ava stepped aside. Come in. He entered slowly. Elliot remained on the phone. Ava placed the phone on the kitchen counter so she could hear him. Her father noticed. You called him? Yes. He closed his eyes. I hoped you wouldn't. Ava folded her arms. Start talking. Her father sat down. You were engaged to Caleb because I believed he was safe. Safe. He came from a family I trusted. He understood our business. He knew our world. And Elliot didn't? He was a schoolteacher. Ava's expression hardened. You thought he wasn't good enough. At first. At first. Her father looked down. Then I realized you loved him. So you changed your mind?
No.
Ava laughed. Of course not. I saw what happened to your mother when she chose love over everything else. Ava froze. My mother. Her father nodded. She married me against her family's wishes. What does that have to do with Elliot? Everything. He looked at her. Your mother spent years regretting that decision. Ava's voice softened. Mom never told me that. She didn't want you to know. Because she regretted marrying you? Her father looked away. That isn't what I meant. Then what? She regretted giving up her career, her independence, her family. Ava stared at him. And you thought I would do the same? I thought you were making the same mistake. Except Elliot never asked me to give anything up. I know that now. Ava's eyes narrowed. Now? Yes. Her father took a breath. 5 years ago, I went to Elliot's apartment. Ava looked at the phone. Elliot was silent. You threatened him. Yes. What did you say? I told him that if he loved you, he would leave. Ava's jaw tightened. And he agreed? He refused. She blinked. He refused. Yes. For the first time, Ava looked at Elliot differently. Her father continued. I told him I would make sure he lost his job. Ava's eyes widened. You couldn't. I could. And did you? Yes. Ava's voice broke. You destroyed his career? I didn't know what else to do. That's not an answer. Her father looked at her. I was desperate. You were controlling. He lowered his head. Yes. The words sat heavily between them. Ava wiped her eyes. What happened after you threatened him? I went home. And? You came to see me. Why? You told me you were leaving Caleb. Ava remembered something. A hallway. Her father's office. Her engagement ring on the desk. Her own voice. I love Elliot. She gasped. I remember. Her father looked up. What? I told you I loved him. Yes. What did you say? I told you that if you walked away from Caleb, you would destroy your mother. Ava's face went pale. You used Mom against me. I was scared. You manipulated me. Yes. The admission broke something inside her. She sat down. So I went to Elliot. Her father nodded. You told him you were leaving everything behind. Ava closed her eyes. Another memory surfaced. Elliot standing in the doorway, his eyes red, her crying, her saying, I don't care what anyone thinks. Then another memory, her father calling, her mother's hospital room, her mother's weak voice. Please don't make the same mistake I did. Ava opened her eyes. My mother didn't ask me to leave Elliot.
No.
Then why did I think she did? Her father said nothing. Ava looked at him. You told me she wanted me to leave him. Her father lowered his head. Yes. Ava's voice trembled. You lied. Yes. Elliot spoke through the phone. Ava, there's something else. She looked at the phone. What? I found something after you left. Her father's face changed. Ava noticed. What did you find? Elliot hesitated. A letter. What letter? One your mother wrote to you. Her father stood suddenly.
No.
Ava looked at him. What? He shook his head. Don't. Why? Because it will only hurt you. Ava's anger exploded. Stop telling me what will hurt me. Her father went silent. She turned to the phone. Where is the letter? With me. Read it. Ava. Read it. Elliot exhaled. Okay. There was a pause. Then his voice became quiet. Your mother wrote that she was proud of you. Ava's eyes filled. She said she didn't want you to choose a life because you were afraid of disappointing her. Ava covered her mouth. Her father looked away. She said she had made enough mistakes in her own life and didn't want you repeating them. Ava began crying. What else? She wrote that she met me. Ava looked at her father. She knew about Elliot? Yes, her father whispered. Elliot continued. She wrote that she liked me. Ava laughed through tears. She did. She said you smiled differently when you talked about me. Ava closed her eyes. She told you to stay away from me?
No.
Then what? Elliot's voice broke. She asked me to protect your right to choose. Ava looked at her father. He couldn't meet her eyes. And you destroyed that choice. I know. Why didn't you show me the letter? Her father whispered. Because I was ashamed. Ava stared at him. 5 years of my life. I know. 5 years. I know. She stood. Get out. Her father looked at her. Ava. Get out. He nodded slowly. Before leaving, he turned toward her. I loved you. Ava's eyes filled. Then you should have trusted me. He walked out. The door closed. Ava stood motionless. Then she reached for the phone. Elliot. I'm here. Where are you? At home. Can you come over? A pause. Yes. Not because I remember everything. I know. Come because I need to see you. I'll be there. 20 minutes later, Elliot knocked. Ava opened the door. Neither spoke. She simply looked at him. Then she stepped forward. He caught her before she could stumble. She pressed her face against his chest. I hate that I forgot you. His arms tightened around her. You didn't forget everything. I forgot 5 years. We have today. She pulled away. What if I don't fall in love with you again? His eyes softened. Then I'll survive. What if I do? He smiled. Then I'll be terrified. She laughed through her tears. You're impossible. You remembered that too. She looked up at him. I remembered your smile. He brushed a tear from her cheek. That's a good start. Ava stared at him. Tell me something you never told me. He thought for a moment. I was supposed to marry you. Her eyes widened. What? Not legally. He smiled. But emotionally. When? The night before you left. Ava stared. You bought a ring? Yes. Where is it? He hesitated. I still have it. Her breath caught. Why? Because I couldn't throw it away. He reached into his pocket. A small box appeared. Ava stared at it. Elliot. He opened it. Inside was a simple ring. No diamond. No extravagant design. Just a thin silver band with a tiny engraving. Ava picked it up. What does it say? He swallowed. Choose me freely. Ava's eyes filled. She looked at him. That's what I wrote? Yes. When? The night you told me you were leaving. She held the ring against her palm. Then she whispered, I think I know why I came back. Elliot's expression changed. Why? Because somewhere inside me. She looked at the apartment. At this place. Then back at him. I never stopped choosing you. Elliot's eyes filled. He didn't kiss her. He waited. Ava noticed. You're not going to kiss me? He smiled. You told me once that you wanted every first kiss to be your choice. She stepped closer. Then I'm choosing. She kissed him. And for one perfect moment, neither of them remembered the 5 years they had lost. But when Ava pulled away, she noticed something on the kitchen counter. A third envelope. It hadn't been there before. Her name was written across it. But this time, the handwriting was hers. Ava slowly picked it up. Elliot's smile disappeared. What is it? I don't know. She opened it. Inside was a single page. She read the first line. Then her face changed. What? Ava couldn't speak. Elliot took the paper. His eyes moved across the page. Then he looked at her. The letter contained only one sentence. If you've fallen in love with Elliot again, there is something you need to tell him before it's too late. Ava's heart pounded. What does that mean? Elliot looked at the date. 5 years ago. Then he turned the page over. There was another sentence. You were pregnant when you left him. Ava's breath disappeared. She looked at Elliot. He stared at her in complete shock. Neither of them spoke. Then Ava whispered, "I had a baby?" Elliot's face went pale.
No.
He looked at the letter again. Then at Ava. "I would have known." Ava's eyes filled with confusion. "Unless." She stopped. Elliot stepped closer. "Unless what?" Ava shook her head. "I don't know." Her phone suddenly rang. "Emma." Ava answered. "Emma?" Her sister was crying. "Ava. What happened? You found the letter, didn't you?" Ava's blood ran cold. "What baby are you talking about?" Silence. Then Emma whispered the words that changed everything. "You didn't lose the baby." Ava froze. "What?" "You gave her away." The call went silent. Elliot stared at Ava, and Ava realized the love letter had never been the real secret. It had only been the beginning. Ava couldn't move. The phone remained pressed against her ear. "Emma," she whispered. "What did you just say?" Her sister was crying. "You didn't lose the baby." Ava's knees weakened. Elliot caught her arm. "Sit down." She barely heard him. "Emma, what baby?" "You know." "No, I don't." Her voice cracked. "I don't remember having a baby." "I know." "Then tell me." Emma sobbed. "You were pregnant when you left Elliot." Ava stared at the letter. Her fingers trembled. "Where is my child?" Silence. "Emma, I can't tell you over the phone." "Why?" "Because Dad is right there." Ava turned toward the door. Her father was gone. "What does Dad have to do with my child?" "He knows." "Knows what?" "He knows where she is." Ava's heart slammed against her ribs. "Is she alive?" "Yes." The word nearly broke her. Ava covered her mouth. "Achini sobi skapid." "She's alive." "Yes." "How old is she?" 5. Ava looked at Elliot. 5. The same number of years she had forgotten. Her hands shook harder. "What's her name?" Emma hesitated. "Ava." "What's her name?" "Lily." Ava closed her eyes. Lily. The name felt strangely familiar. Not like a memory, like a missing heartbeat. "Where is she?" "I can't." "Emma, please." "I'll send you the address." "Do it now." The call ended. Ava lowered the phone. Elliot was staring at her. 5 years. She nodded. "I have a daughter." His face was pale. "You were pregnant?" "Yes." He looked devastated. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't know." "You didn't know?" "I don't remember." Elliot stepped away. Ava immediately reached for him. "Elliot." He turned. His eyes were wet. "I would have stayed." "I know." "I would have fought for you." "I know." "I would have raised her with you." Ava began crying. "I know." He covered his face. "I missed 5 years of my daughter's life." Ava's heart broke. She walked toward him. "She didn't know us either." Elliot looked at her. "What? If we didn't know about her?" He shook his head. "That's not the same."
No.
Ava took his hands. "But we can know her now." He looked at her. "What if she doesn't want us? She doesn't even know us. That might be worse." Ava squeezed his fingers. "Then we'll give her time." Elliot looked at her. "You're serious?" "Yes." She wiped her tears. "I don't know how to be her mother." He gave a broken smile. "I don't know how to be her father." "Then we'll learn." For the first time, Elliot pulled her into his arms. Ava held him tightly. Neither spoke. Then her phone buzzed. A message from Emma. An address. Ava looked at it. It was in Mount Pleasant, less than 20 minutes away. She stared. "She lives here." Elliot looked over her shoulder. "Let's go." They drove in silence. Halfway there, Ava spoke. "Do you remember the pregnancy?" Elliot's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Yes." She looked at him. "Tell me." "You were sick every morning." A faint smile appeared. "You hated the smell of coffee." Ava laughed softly. "That sounds impossible." "You threatened to ban me from drinking it." "Did I?" "You said, if you love me, you'll quit coffee." "What did you say?" I said I loved you enough to drink it outside. She laughed. Then her smile disappeared. What happened? You found out you were pregnant shortly after we separated. Ava stared ahead. You knew?
No.
What? I didn't know. Her eyes widened. Then how do you remember? Because you called me. Ava's breathing stopped. What did I say? You were crying. He swallowed. You said, Elliot, I'm pregnant. Ava closed her eyes. And what did you say? I asked where you were. Why? Because I wanted to come to you. And you told me not to. Why? You said your father was threatening to take control of your mother's medical care. Ava opened her eyes. What? Your father told you that if you stayed with me, he'd make sure your mother lost access to the specialists she needed. Ava stared at him. That can't be true. I believed it. And the baby? You told me you were going to keep her. Her voice trembled. I told you that? Yes. Then why did I give her away? I don't know. Ava turned toward him. Did you ever see her?
No.
Not once.
No.
Then how did you know she existed? Emma told me. Ava frowned. Emma knew. She contacted me 6 months after you left. Why? To tell me you had given birth. Ava's eyes filled. And you didn't come? I tried. What happened? Your father threatened to have me arrested for harassment if I contacted you. Ava stared at him. I never knew. I know. The car became silent again. Then Elliot said, there was something else. What? Emma told me you didn't give the baby away willingly. Ava turned sharply. What? She said you were told the baby had died. Ava's blood ran cold. Then why is she alive? I don't know. The car slowed. Elliot looked toward the address. We're here. Ava stared at the house. A small white home. A swing in the front yard. A child's bicycle beside the porch. Her heart broke before she even stepped out. She's here. Elliot nodded. Ava opened the door. Then stopped. What if she doesn't like me? Elliot looked at her. She doesn't have to. Ava swallowed. What if I don't know what to say? Tell her the truth. What truth? That you came because you love her. Ava nodded. They walked to the door. A woman in her late 50s opened it. She looked at Ava, then Elliot. Then her face changed. You came. Ava frowned. You know me? The woman looked down. Yes. Who are you? Margaret. Her voice trembled. I was supposed to keep her safe. Ava's heart raced. Where is my daughter? Margaret stepped aside. A little girl sat on the living room floor drawing. She had dark curls, hazel eyes, a tiny purple sweater. Ava stopped breathing. The girl looked up. Their eyes met. Something inside Ava shattered. The little girl smiled. Mom! Ava couldn't breathe. Margaret covered her mouth. Elliot froze beside her. Ava whispered,
I'm sorry.
The little girl stood. You came back. Ava's tears fell. Do you know me? The girl nodded. Of course. Ava looked at Margaret. What is happening? Margaret began crying. She remembers you. Ava's heart pounded. I've never met her. Margaret shook her head. Yes, you have. What? You held her every night after she was born. Ava's face went pale. I was told she died. She was taken from the hospital. By whom? Margaret looked toward the hallway. Before she could answer, a man's voice came from behind them. By me. Ava turned. Her father stood there. He looked exhausted. But this time he wasn't alone. Caleb stood beside him. Ava's blood ran cold. What is he doing here? Caleb stepped forward. I came to explain. Ava's voice became ice. You've had 5 years to explain. I know. You lied about my baby. I didn't. Then who did? Caleb looked at her. Your father. Ava turned. Her father lowered his head. I thought I was saving you. Ava laughed bitterly. From love. From a life I thought would destroy you. You took my child. I placed her somewhere safe. You stole 5 years from me. I made sure she was loved. Ava looked at Lily. The little girl was watching all of them. Ava's voice broke. You don't get to decide who loves my child. Her father started crying. I know. Elliot stepped beside Ava. His voice was calm. Where were you planning to send her? Her father looked at him. I wasn't. Then why was she here? Because Margaret was the only person I trusted. Ava looked at Margaret. Why didn't you tell me? Margaret cried. Because your father told me you had chosen to disappear. Ava's heart sank. He lied to everyone. Her father nodded. Yes. Why? He looked at Elliot. Because I was afraid you'd choose him. Elliot stared at him. You weren't protecting her. I know. You were protecting yourself. Her father lowered his head. Yes. Ava looked at Lily. The little girl was still staring at her. Ava slowly crouched. E. Lily smiled. E. Ava's voice trembled.
I'm Ava.
The little girl giggled. I know. Ava laughed through her tears. Right? Lily held out a drawing. I made this for you. Ava took it. It showed 3 people holding hands. A woman, a man, a little girl. Ava's heart stopped. Who are they? Lily pointed. That's me. Then the woman. That's you. Then the man. And that's Daddy. Elliot's eyes filled. He looked at Ava. Ava looked back. Neither of them could speak. Then Lily asked the question that made Ava's heart ache. Can you stay this time? Ava swallowed. She looked at Elliot. Then at her daughter. Yes. Her voice shook. Yes, sweetheart. Lily ran into her arms. Ava held her. And the moment she did, something returned. Not a memory. A feeling. The same feeling from the first letter. Love. Complete. Immediate. Unmistakable. She closed her eyes. I remember. Elliot stepped closer. What? Ava looked up at him. I remember the night I left. Her father's face went pale. Ava stood slowly. You told me my baby had died. Her father couldn't answer. You told me Elliot abandoned us. Still nothing. And you told me I had no choice. She looked at him through tears. But I did have a choice. Her father nodded. You did. Ava took Elliot's hand. I choose now. Lily reached for Elliot. He knelt. She wrapped her arms around him. Daddy. He closed his eyes. A tear slipped down his cheek. Yes. She hugged him tighter. Ava watched them. For 5 years, someone had controlled her memories. For 5 years, someone had decided what she was allowed to know. But they couldn't control what happened next. Because love had returned. Not as a memory, as a choice. And this time, nobody was going to make it for her. But as Ava held her daughter's hand, she noticed something on Lily's drawing. A tiny sentence written underneath the 3 figures. Ava bent closer. Her smile disappeared. The words were written in a child's handwriting. But Lily hadn't written them. There is one more person you need to find. Ava looked at Margaret. Margaret went pale. Elliot noticed. Margaret. The older woman stepped backward. Ava's heart began pounding. Who is the other person? Margaret looked at Ava. Then at Lily. Then whispered. Your mother. Ava's breath caught. My mother is dead. Margaret shook her head.
No.
The room fell silent. She isn't. Ava stared at her. What? Margaret's eyes filled with tears. Your mother has been alive this entire time. Ava stared at Margaret.
No.
The word came out barely louder than a breath. My mother died 5 years ago. Margaret shook her head. She didn't. Ava looked at her father. He couldn't meet her eyes. Dad. Nothing. Dad. Look at me. Slowly he did. The guilt in his face answered before he spoke. Ava's heart cracked. You knew. Yes. You knew she was alive? Yes. For 5 years. He nodded. Ava stepped backward. I don't even know who you are anymore. I was trying to protect you. Stop saying that. Her voice filled the room. You keep using that word like it makes everything you've done acceptable. Her father began crying. I know. No, you don't. She pointed toward Lily. You took my daughter. Then toward herself. You erased my past. then toward the hallway. And you let me believe my mother was dead. Her voice broke. What could possibly justify that? Her father whispered. Nothing. Ava's eyes filled. Where is she? He hesitated. Dad. She lives in Savannah. Ava froze. Where? I'll take you.
No.
She shook her head. You've made enough decisions for me. Elliot stepped beside her. I'll drive. Ava looked at him. Then at Lily. I can't leave her. Margaret stepped forward. She can come. Lily immediately reached for Ava's hand. I want to go with you. Ava crouched. You don't have to. Lily looked at her. But you're my mommy. Ava's eyes filled again. Yes. Then I want to go. Ava pulled her into a hug. Okay. Elliot knelt beside them. And I'm coming too. Lily looked at him. Daddy. He smiled through tears. Yes. Are you staying? Elliot glanced at Ava. Ava squeezed his hand. Yes. Lily smiled. Good. For the first time, the three of them stood together. Not as a family that had always been together, but as a family that had finally found one another. They left Charleston before sunrise. The drive to Savannah was quiet at first. Lily eventually fell asleep in the back seat. Ava watched her through the mirror. She looks like me. Elliot smiled. She has your eyes. Ava looked at him. You've never seen her before.
No.
He glanced into the mirror. But I know. Ava smiled. Then her expression became serious. Are you angry? At you? Yes. He shook his head. I've been angry for 5 years. At my father? At everyone. He looked at her. But not you. Why? Because you were lied to. Ava reached across the console and took his hand. I don't want us to spend the rest of our lives trying to recover 5 years. Neither do I. I want new memories. His fingers tightened around hers. Then let's make them. When they reached Savannah, Ava's father led them to a small house near the river. Ava's heart pounded as they approached. Her father knocked. No one answered. He knocked again. Then the door opened. A woman stood there, older, thinner, her hair streaked with silver. But Ava knew her immediately. Mom! The woman covered her mouth. Ava couldn't move. Neither could her mother. Then her mother whispered, My baby! Ava burst into tears. She ran forward. Her mother caught her. They held each other so tightly that neither seemed willing to let go. You're alive. I've always been here. Why didn't you come for me? Her mother sobbed. I tried. Ava pulled back. Why didn't you tell me? Her mother looked at Ava's father. I was told you wanted nothing to do with me. Ava turned. Dad. He looked broken. I told her you needed space. For 5 years. I kept meaning to tell you. But you never did. I was afraid. Ava shook her head. You weren't protecting any of us. Her father began crying. I know. Her mother touched Ava's cheek. I wrote you letters. Ava froze. Letters. Hundreds. Where are they? Her mother looked toward the hallway. Some are here. Ava followed her. There was a box beneath a table. She opened it. Letters. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Her name was written on every envelope. Ava picked up the first one. I never received these. I know. She opened it. Her mother's handwriting filled the page. My darling Ava, I don't know what your father has told you, but I need you to know that I never wanted you to leave Elliot. Ava's eyes filled. She opened another. If you are reading this years from now, please remember that love is not something you should be ashamed of. Another. Your daughter deserves to know that her mother fought for her. Ava stopped. My daughter. Her mother nodded. I knew about Lily. Before she was born? Yes. How? Because you told me. Ava's heart pounded. You remembered everything before you forgot. Her mother took her hand. You were going to leave with Elliot. What happened? Your father intercepted you. Ava closed her eyes. A memory returned. Car waiting. Her father standing in front of it. Her crying. Her mother calling from the hospital. Then a baby crying. Ava gasped. I remember. Elliot stepped closer. What? The hospital. Her breathing quickened. I had Lily. She touched her chest. You were there. Elliot's eyes widened. I was. You were outside the room. A tear ran down her cheek. You were holding flowers. Elliot smiled through his tears. You remember. You told me she had your eyes. He laughed softly. I never saw her. You did. Ava looked at him. You saw her through the nursery window. Elliot's face crumpled. I remember. Ava reached for him. He held her. Then she whispered, You asked me to marry you. He laughed through tears. I did. And I said yes. Yes. Lily suddenly appeared in the doorway. Mommy. Ava turned. Lily held up a crayon drawing. I made another one. Ava smiled. What is it? Lily showed her. It was their family. Ava, Elliot, Lily, and an older woman standing beside them. That's Grandma. Ava looked at her mother. Her mother smiled. Then Lily pointed at the last figure. And that's Grandpa. Ava's smile faded. Her father stood quietly behind them. For a moment nobody spoke. Then Ava walked toward him. He looked at her. I don't expect you to forgive me. Ava nodded. Good. He swallowed. But I don't want to hate you either. Tears filled his eyes. I don't deserve that. Maybe not. She looked at Lily. But she's going to know you. He stared at his granddaughter. Can I? Ava took a breath. Yes. He broke down crying. Lily walked toward him cautiously. Are you Grandpa? He nodded. Yes. She smiled. Mommy said you're sorry. He looked at Ava. She gave him a small nod. Lily held out her hand. It's okay. Her grandfather took it. Ava watched them. For years, she had believed her story ended when she lost Elliot. She had been wrong. It had only been interrupted. That evening, Ava sat outside with Elliot. The sun was setting over Savannah. Lily was inside with her grandmother. Elliot handed Ava something. The old silver ring. Where did you get this? I kept it. Ava looked at the engraving. Choose me freely. She smiled. You know what? What? I think I already did. Elliot looked at her. Are you sure? Ava nodded. I don't want you because of who I was 5 years ago. She took his hand. I want you because of who you are now. He smiled. And I want you because you finally get to choose. Ava leaned against his shoulder. For the first time, there was no secret between them. No missing memory. No family member deciding what she should know. No letter waiting to reveal another painful truth. Just the two of them. And the little girl who had brought them back together. Ava smiled. Do you still love me? Elliot looked at her. More than I did 5 years ago. She laughed. How is that possible? Because now I know what losing you feels like. Ava kissed him. Inside the house, Lily shouted, Mommy! Ava pulled away laughing. I think someone needs us. Elliot stood. Someone always needs us. They went inside together. Months later, Ava returned to her apartment in Charleston. The place no longer felt strange. Felt like home. She opened the kitchen cabinet. The old love letter was still there. She unfolded it. The words that had once frightened her now made her smile. If you're reading this, then you finally came home. Ava touched the paper. She finally understood. The letter hadn't been a warning. It had been a promise. A promise that even if life separated two people, love could sometimes find a way back. She placed the letter inside a wooden box beside the photographs of Elliot and Lily. Then she closed it. From the living room, Elliot called, Ava, we're leaving. She smiled. Coming. Lily shouted, Mommy, hurry. Ava grabbed her coat. Before leaving, she looked once more at the box. Then she smiled. She hadn't found the letter. The letter had found her. And it had led her back to the people she had spent 5 years believing she'd lost forever. She switched off the light. Then she stopped. Something was sticking out from underneath the box. Ava slowly pulled it free. Another envelope. Her heart skipped. She turned it over. This time there was no name. Only one sentence. For the woman who finally chose her own life. Ava smiled. She didn't open it. Not yet. She tucked it safely into the box. Because for once, she didn't need another letter to tell her what came next. She already knew. She would choose. She would love. And she would never again allow anyone else to write the ending of her story. Ava didn't open the final envelope that night. She told herself she didn't need to. For the first time in years, she wasn't searching for an explanation. She had Elliot. She had Lily. She had her mother. She had finally reclaimed the parts of her life that had been taken from her. That should have been enough. But 3 weeks later, the envelope was still sitting inside the wooden box. And every time Ava opened the drawer, she saw it. Eventually, curiosity won. She waited until Lily was asleep. Elliot was in the kitchen making tea. Ava sat on the edge of the bed with the envelope in her hands. She turned it over. No return address. No date. Just the sentence she'd already seen. For the woman who finally chose her own life. She opened it. The handwriting wasn't hers. It wasn't Elliot's. And it wasn't her mother's. Ava's smile disappeared. She began reading. Dear Ava, if you're reading this, then everything happened the way I hoped it would. Her heart skipped. She continued. You found Elliot. You found Lily. You found your mother. And most importantly, you found yourself. Ava frowned. Who could have written this? There is something I've wanted to tell you for years, but I promised I would wait until you were ready. Ava stopped. Ready for what? Elliot appeared in the doorway. What are you reading? She looked up. I found another letter. His expression changed. Another. She nodded. He sat beside her. Do you want me to read it? Ava handed it to him. He read silently. Then his eyes stopped. What? Ava leaned closer. What does it say? He handed it back. You should read this part. Her eyes moved down the page. The first letter you found was not the beginning of your story. It was the beginning of your second chance. Ava swallowed. Then she read the next line. But there was one thing Elliot never knew. She looked at him. He frowned. What didn't I know? Ava continued. On the night Ava left 5 years ago, she didn't only leave because of her father. Her heartbeat quickened. She left because she believed Elliot had chosen to let her go. Ava looked at Elliot. He went completely still. That isn't true. Keep reading. She did. Someone showed Ava a message that appeared to come from Elliot. It said, I can't do this anymore. Choose your family. I'm done fighting. Ava's face went pale. I never saw that. Elliot shook his head. I never sent it. I know. They stared at each other. The letter continued. The message was fake. Ava's hand began shaking. Who sent it? The next line answered her. Caleb. Elliot stood.
No.
Ava looked up. He did it. He wanted you to believe I'd abandoned you. But why? Because he knew you would never choose him if you believed I was still waiting. Ava stared at the page. Everything suddenly shifted. Her memory of that night returned. Not completely, but enough. She remembered sitting in her car, crying, reading the message, calling Elliot. No answer. Calling again. Still nothing. Then Caleb arriving, telling her Elliot had moved on, telling her she was humiliating herself, telling her she needed to accept that Elliot didn't want her. Ava covered her mouth. I believed him. Elliot knelt in front of her. You didn't know. But I should have.
No.
His voice was firm. You were manipulated. She looked at him. Who wrote this letter? He shook his head. I don't know. Ava turned the page. There was one final paragraph. I know you're going to want to find me. Don't. Not yet. There is still one person you haven't forgiven. Ava frowned. Her father? Caleb? She read the last sentence. Forgive yourself. Ava's eyes filled. The letter ended there. No name. No clue. Nothing else. Elliot sat beside her. You okay? Ava nodded. Then she shook her head. I don't know. He took her hand. You don't have to. She leaned against him. I spent so much time blaming myself. I know. I thought I abandoned you. You didn't. I thought I gave away Lily. You didn't. I thought I failed my mother. You didn't. She looked at him. What if I've been carrying guilt that never belonged to me? Elliot squeezed her hand. Then put it down. Ava began crying. Not the desperate tears she'd cried when she discovered the truth. These were different. They felt like relief. She rested her head against his shoulder. I think I'm finally free. You are. A tiny voice came from the hallway. Mommy. Ava looked up. Lily stood there holding her stuffed rabbit. Why are you crying? Ava smiled. Because I'm happy. Lily walked over. Happy crying? Exactly. Lily climbed onto the bed. Can I have a happy cry too? Ava laughed. Yes. The little girl hugged her. Elliot wrapped his arms around both of them. For a moment, Ava closed her eyes. 5 years ago, she'd believed she'd lost everything. Now she understood something. She hadn't lost her life. She had lost control of it. And now she had taken it back. Months passed. Ava and Elliot never rushed their relationship. They didn't immediately plan a wedding. They didn't pretend 5 missing years could be replaced overnight. Instead, they learned each other again. They went on dates. They argued about small things. They laughed. They apologized. They learned how Lily liked her pancakes. They discovered that Elliot still couldn't cook. They discovered that Ava still hated mornings. And slowly, without forcing it, their love became something new. Not the love they remembered. Something stronger. Something chosen. One Sunday morning, Elliot walked into the kitchen and found Ava staring at the old wooden box. You're thinking about opening it again. She smiled. Maybe. He sat beside her. Don't. She looked at him. Why? Because every time you open that box, something complicated happens. She laughed. That is statistically accurate. He reached for her hand. Leave some mysteries alone. Ava looked at the box. Then at him. You're right. She closed the drawer. Lily ran into the kitchen. Mommy. Ava turned. What happened? I lost Bunny. Elliot stood immediately. Operation Bunny begins. Lily giggled. Ava laughed. They searched the house. Under the couch. Behind the curtains. Inside the laundry basket. Finally, Lily found the stuffed rabbit beneath Elliot's pillow. She stared at him. Daddy. Yes. Why was Bunny sleeping in your bed? Elliot looked embarrassed. I have no explanation. Ava burst out laughing. The room filled with the sound. And Ava realized she couldn't remember the last time happiness had felt this ordinary. She didn't need dramatic promises. She didn't need expensive rings. She didn't need someone to tell her what her future would look like. She simply needed this. Family. A home. A man who let her choose. And a daughter who had given her a reason to keep choosing. That evening, Ava received one final message. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then she saw the words. You deserved to know the truth. I'm sorry I waited so long. Ava's heart tightened. Another message followed. I was the one who left the letters in your apartment. She stared at the screen. Her breath caught. The third message appeared. I was there 5 years ago. I saw what happened. Ava looked at Elliot. What's wrong? She showed him. His expression became serious. Who is it? I don't know. Another message. You don't know me yet, but you will. Ava typed. Who are you? The typing bubble appeared. Then disappeared. Appeared again. Finally, a message arrived. Someone who owes you the truth about the night Lily was born. Ava's stomach tightened. She looked at Elliot. We thought we knew everything. He took the phone.
No.
Ava whispered. We didn't. Another message appeared. And this time, Ava, don't let anyone convince you that you're better off forgetting. Ava stared at the screen. She should have been afraid. Instead, something unexpected happened. She smiled. Because 5 years ago, a mystery would have made her run. Now it made her curious. She took the phone back. Then she typed one sentence. I'm not afraid anymore. She pressed send. The response came almost immediately. Good. Because tomorrow I'm going to tell you who your father was protecting you from. Ava's smile vanished. Elliot looked at her. What did they say? She handed him the phone. He read the message, then looked toward the window. Tomorrow. Ava nodded. What do we do tonight? She looked at Lily sleeping peacefully on the couch. Then at Elliot. We live. He smiled. That's a good plan. Ava leaned into him. Because whatever tomorrow brought, she had finally learned the most important lesson of her life. Love wasn't about finding someone who could promise that nothing would ever hurt. It wasn't about having a perfect past. It wasn't even about remembering every moment. Sometimes love was simply having the courage to choose again after everything had fallen apart. And this time, nobody was choosing for her. Not her father. Not her sister. Not Caleb. Not fear. Not the past. Ava had her own voice now, and she intended to use it. She looked at Elliot. I love you. He smiled. I love you too. Lily stirred on the couch. Mommy? Ava laughed softly. Yes, sweetheart. Are you still here? Ava looked at Elliot, then at her daughter. Always. And this time she meant it. The next morning, the mysterious stranger would finally reveal the last secret. But whatever waited on the other side of that truth, Ava knew one thing for certain. She was no longer the woman who needed someone else to write her story. She was finally holding the pen herself. Ava looked at Elliot. I love you. He smiled. I love you too. Lily stirred on the couch. Mommy? Ava turned. Yes, sweetheart. Are you still here? Ava looked at Elliot, then at her daughter. Always. And this time she meant it. Because 5 years ago, Ava had lost her memories. She had lost the man she loved. She had lost 5 precious years with her daughter. She had even believed she had lost her mother. But somehow, through one forgotten letter hidden inside an apartment she never expected to call home, she had found her way back to all of them. The letter hadn't simply brought Elliot back into her life. It had brought Ava back to herself. She no longer needed someone else to decide who she should love. She no longer needed permission to choose her own happiness. And she no longer needed to be afraid of the past. She had her daughter. She had Elliot. She had her mother. And most importantly, she finally had the courage to write her own ending. Ava looked once more at the old wooden box containing the letter that had started everything. She smiled. Then she closed the drawer. Some stories begin with a goodbye. Some begin with a secret. But theirs had begun with a letter that was never meant to be forgotten. And perhaps that was the most beautiful part. The woman who had once been forced to forget the love of her life had finally remembered something even more important. She was allowed to choose. And she chose love. She chose family. She chose herself. Ava reached for Elliot's hand. He squeezed it. Lily smiled sleepily from the couch. And for the first time there was nothing left to run from. Only a life waiting to be lived. If Ava and Elliot's story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel because there are more emotional love stories waiting for you. And before you leave, tell us in the comments. If you discovered that the person you once loved had been taken from your life by someone else's lies, would you give that love a second chance? And if you believe Ava made the right choice, like this video and share it with someone who believes that true love deserves a second chance. Because sometimes the person you thought you lost forever isn't really gone. Sometimes, love simply waits for the right moment to find its way home. And sometimes, all it takes is one forgotten letter. Until the next story, remember, the best love stories aren't always the ones that begin perfectly. They're the ones where two people find their way back to each other when everything says they shouldn't. Ava found her letter. She found her daughter. She found Elliot. But most importantly, she found herself. And that was the love story worth remembering.